Oh, welcome everybody. 566. And this episode, it is just Owen and I. We're going to talk about
one more
things.
person asks me if we're going on a hiatus, I'm going to lose my mind. All right.
Somebody asked you that?
Several people.
Why?
I don't know. It's not like we haven't been here for forever, and maybe it's not as like, I don't know. We're not doing it as consistently, but
We've put out
as
a podcast
consistent
every
as they would
week.
like. Yeah.
Well, well, that's funny you bring this up, right? Because this is something that I've been struggling with. Is like, I'm in, you know how we opposite usually go through burnout and stress and all that stuff. And
right.
My thing is only caused by just, I go through these points in life where everything is great and then everything is shit.
Yeah.
you know,
I mean, that's, yeah.
And it's like, it doesn't seem to like, for me, it doesn't seem to be like it just one thing is shit, the rest is good. So it's not that, it's just like everything becomes
compounding.
Shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like everything becomes shit. And it's sort of like, I don't know. It's just, I'm just in that weird mode.
Well, dude,
I was talking to Keith and I was saying when I was talking to him about it, and I guess, I don't know, I guess I could say this, but and
Keith is our wise sage herpetology person.
Yes.
He is the.
I usually go to Keith for these type of.
I mean, it's
talks.
weird that when we come into Keith's house, he's like sitting Indian style with a robe on, like, welcome, my children. Like, it's like I don't know why.
I can't think of the
do that.
What's the Parks and Rec with Ron Swanson?
Yes.
Well, the liberal Ron Swanson.
Yes, no, that was just Eagleville Ron. Yeah, Like it's like, get this man out of my office before I hit him. I will not fight back. It's like get out. Everything is groovy, man.
He's got the mustache and all, man.
Yeah,
that's what he reminds me of. It's all soft smoking and But then Keith tells us of his past, and we're like, that can't be true.
Gee, no.
Anyway, I forget where I was going with that.
You're talking to Keith.
Oh, just where was it? What was I gonna? Oh no, yeah. I was talking to Keith about. I think because I think I might be like, I don't know if depressed is the right word, because I don't feel like
there are
depressed.
levels of it. But somehow NPR has turned into a therapy session in the first 5 fucking minutes. Holy shit, dude.
Yeah, right.
Don't put all this pressure on me. Don't do it. It's not a good place.
I want you to understand where I'm coming from.
I understand.
It's like, because over the past 6 months, it's just been one
You've
person
been through the
dying
ringer.
through the other, It's like there's no time to like process it.
Yeah.
Because you're on to the next one. And now I've hit the wall. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah.
That's kind of
now things have calmed down enough that you're like, it's the
thinking
basic thing
about
of like, I've now stopped and everything is coming. Like, it's just now all the things that have been behind me are now catching up. And it's like, I get it. And that's where you can totally get downtrodden and stuff like that. And it's like, you need certain things to uplift you. I think Keith wanted us to kidnap you, put a blindfold on you and drop you off in a place and tell you you're not allowed back till you find 3 reptiles. I said that was a little bit of an extreme, but I liked where he was going with it. So
I hate to be I don't know, man. I guess I'm just an old school type of thing where you just like compress your feelings. You know what I mean? Like,
now listen, we can all go to the Jim McIntyre School of Feelings. Boy, this is a beer. You drink it till it stops. Yeah, that's not all right. Drink. All right. It's not okay.
Yeah. So
I mean, but the problem is that you end up like my old man, where when you have a 2-year-old grandson standing in front of you in feety pajamas, you're like, "Hello, you may call me the Admiral." It's like you never said shit. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
It's like the second time that kid has seen you. Like,
the Admiral. But yeah, I don't know. It just seems like I I just can't get out of I'm in a funk, right? I'll get out of it. I know I will. I always do. So I'm not worried about that. But
I mean, I think we have to just put you in a very large box that says Hobbit on the side, ship you to Australia and let you run around. And then, like, I guess Scott will just put you back in the box and then you'll come back. Yeah.
It'll be good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that's my. I
think the Grand Canyon trip would have rejuvenated you if it hadn't nearly killed you. So it's like we went too far. It was like we got to this point, and then it's like crap.
Yeah.
Like it's
we took it a step
too far. Back in. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. I know. I sent this video in one of our chats about the hike.
I never want to see that video again. That was dude. You're like, and then it pans, and I'm like, stop.
Rob sends me one on the side that's like shows like the ledges and shit.
Jeez,
it has like a different angle.
Like the camera's pointed down, and you see.
And even I was having anxiety. Like,
no.
Yeah.
Nope.
So, yeah, I'm trying to. I had to go down to it's nonstop, man.
We have 13 years of episodes. Shut up.
Yeah.
Like it's fine.
Well, I don't think we've been late. I know that I haven't been in the Discord. I know I haven't been in the Patreon. I know all those things.
We'll fix that. If we want to do a Patreon thing, let's do a Patreon meetup for the 4th of July. We'll do it on Friday. I have off.
Okay. I have to work, but by the time I'm done work, you'll probably be waking up, so it will be good.
I mean, it depends on you're like, listen, I'm always at work. It's like, yes. But we can figure something out. I mean, it could always be Saturday because, like I said, I won't have much. So we can figure it out. That'll be something for the Patreon.
I guess it's a lot of like.
I'll get that plucky, energetic kid that we keep around to do something. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Well, by the way, he was on. The Project Herpetoculture.
He was?
Yes, he did pretty good. It was a good show.
I'm so proud. Don't tell him I said.
Yeah, I don't remember him going in depth about like how he started and whatnot, but he every time you go onto the podcast, right, you tell a little more of your story, like something kind of triggers.
You want to peel back a different layer because if you do the same story on everything, it's like I don't know why you're asking me again.
Right. So it's kind of like you learn something new about somebody that you know so well. That's always a good thing. So, but anyway, it was good. You should check it out. There's
check that out.
There's another podcast to check out. It's called The Idiot and the Expert, or The Expert and the Idiot. Did I talk about this one last week?
I think you did. If not, I've heard of it because Matt was on it and he was talking.
Matt was on it. Yeah.
Yep.
And Nick was just on it. I guess I went on it at some point, but
what is up with Nick and his
beard?
Yeah,
he's trying to be you, Owen.
Yeah, he's got a little bit more gray in there and stuff like that. I don't know what's going on there. In hockey terms, he's a gray beard, but yeah.
It's funny that one of the topics that Lucas and the guys were talking about was what makes you go in a direction, and not many people are sort of able to do multiple types of things. And I think it's the same thing that I always give you huge kudos for, as far as being able to juggle colubrids, pythons, boas.
What makes me go? What makes me go in a different direction is that I'm pretty sure the only thing that's going on up here is a monkey and a jingle bell, just kind of throwing it all over the place. When it comes to I don't know, cool, fun snake.
Yeah. And you can tell. I wonder too. Lucas was talking about when he was working at East Bay Vivarium.
Yeah.
I wonder how much of those situations affect your whole herpetoculture. Where you sort of end up and you can always change too. You can start in one species and end up in a totally different. I mean, look at Keith, right?
Yeah. I think that stuff, being in a place where you're exposed to a shit ton of species quickly will definitely kind of get you moving. But again, it's one of those, I think he's talked to us a few times where he's like, we had these at the Bavarian. I'm like, they're cool. And over here. And then later he goes, no, wait, they were really cool. And I never really got and also your interests change,
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I've walked past boa tables my entire career and been like, yeah, not carpets. kept walking. And now I'm like, I could do some more boas. Like I could get some more boas. So like I could do that. You know, it's not that I'm going to ditch Morelia anytime soon, but I think in the next couple weekends, I have that massive cage swapping thing. Solar panels are getting put on the house tomorrow. So
nice. Okay.
so that's happening. But then like in a few weeks, I have 3 cages open. So now those animals shift here and these animals shift there and everything's all over the place. And then animals are moving from other bins to other stuff. And then Buddy's coming over to pick up some animals that I'm sending over there because I just keep making him do my breeding for me. And then I just reap the benefits.
You have quite a setup there,
my
McIntyre.
training is, I'm turning into you more and more. Or it's just like, I don't feel like selling this. Take it, breed it, give me babies, and then But yeah, and then I'm like, oh, you know what? We're done. The blonde hognose laid its eggs. So we're done for the season. Rhino rat snake dropped. I'm like, shit.
I saw that. That was unexpected.
It was one of those, I thought, and in the back of your brain, you're like, you know what this is 100%. And then, but in the front of your brain, we're like,
try to deny it.
Yeah. And she ate, dude. Like, no, there's no chance in hell. And then she didn't eat. I'm like, yeah, but she's kind of flipped and flopped, and this is her first season and all that other stuff. And I'm like, yeah, but that male will breed anything. Yeah, but this is a new girl. Like, so, but yeah, if another rhino clutch happens, I'll be completely surprised. But
I will be honest. That's something that I am looking forward to this coming October. It's kind of like, that and the trip to Australia. But to start breeding again. You know, I'm kind of excited about that. I think that's another thing that I'm kind of bummed about. I'm kind of like was really looking forward to doing something with diamonds, but that got all fucked up. And, then the whole thing with like building the cages and all that kind of got set back. And it's kind of like I have so much like, there's so much to do in the house, let alone with the snakes. And it's, then the podcast and, it's just,
there's a lot to do and a lot of other things. And the thing is that when you have a public portal where people can kind of see a little bit of a flash of what you got going on. Yeah. They're like, oh, obviously you think, no, you're getting a glimpse and that's the best you got. So.
Yeah. It's kind of like, I quite honestly, probably at this point, if I wasn't doing NPR, I probably wouldn't even really be like online. You know what I mean? Like
you'd be the guy that has like, you'd be the guy that Matt talks about that appears out of nowhere and goes, I have to get rid of all these diamonds that are in my house. If someone wants to meet me in a parking lot, and it's like, Jesus Christ,
what is this guy doing?
which that life is appealing. Like,
yeah.
Very appealing.
Not that it's not anything against anything. It's just that like you have the freedom, I guess, to come in and out as you please.
Oh yeah.
When you're sort of like not sort of,
I mean,
doing a weekly podcast, you can sort of just be like I don't feel like dealing with it, or I don't have the time.
There's the thing where it's like I like going to shows and I like just kind of walking around. And I think we're still enough of a niche thing and we don't make a giant spectacle that if you and I were to just go to Tinley Park or to Daytona, certain people would recognize us, certain people would come say hello, but there wouldn't be a full-fledged stoppage of anything that was going on or say, which I would hate that. I do not want that at all.
Like snake discovery.
Oh yeah, exactly. Listen, nobody's paying to see us. Okay. No, I wouldn't pay to see us. So at a show, why would you waste your money?
Yeah.
But, It's still though. I think the last time we ended up going to Tinley, didn't we end up having to almost rent out a whole wing of a restaurant because of all the people that came with us to dinner or something like that? So
that's cool. I love
like that.
I love all the support and all that stuff. But
I don't want to see my face on a banner or anything. I guess
too. Like I feel like sometimes there's so many reptile podcasts now that it's kind of like. How do we stand? Like, not, I don't know.
It's just not how do we stand out, but how do we?
Yeah, like it's like I have to maybe rethink how we approach the show and like trying to come up with I don't know. I know
Nipper's going to get mad at me because now I have you thinking about how to change the show, and he doesn't want that. Like now I'm going to get a nasty email from Nipper now.
I kind of feel like we kind of like put the whole way that it's done kind of on the map, I guess. I'm not trying to sound egotistical or anything, but we were, it's like what we were doing. And we copied it off of the Reptile Radio people. And it's sort of like, just it worked. And like, I think this is the other thing that bums me out. I feel like we started so strong this season with having great episodes. Gavin, we had Dale talking about the eggs. We just had Justin talking about pygmy pythons. We had I said Gavin, but Gavin, and like I thought the IJ roundtable was great. I loved all the conversation we had with about chondros, and we had a couple chondro shows. We had Buddy back on, so I don't know. I don't know. I think it's just a funk, man. Again, it'll pass. You know how we both go through this from time to time.
Trust me. And I understand. The thing is that when you get out of the funk, you tend to come back
stronger.
Because like, you remember I was in that one where I had that big thing where I lost a couple of my animals, and that was on the heels of me moving out here, and I had a year that was just shit with slugs, and you just feel like absolute crud. But then you rebuild, rejuvenate, decide different things. And that's probably where my colubrid kick started, is because I had open cages and I wanted something else. And it's like Mike Curtin, when he had all that stuff go on with his things and he lost a ton of animals, he came back stronger. But then he also added things like Argentines and, a couple different liasis projects and stuff like that, other things. So it's like sometimes that's the shot in the ass you need, is just to kind of weather a storm like that. So
maybe it's a sense of like adding value to the community, I guess. Maybe that's like inside my thoughts. Like,
I have no idea what value we've offered the community over these years. I've just ramblings of two Philadelphia idiots, but it's whatever. Yeah,
exactly. Wooter.
That's what it is. Yep.
I think like, I guess I'm trying to think of how to put it into words. It's like when I said about like, there's so many reptile podcasts, and that's sort of like what I'm searching for. Like are we? I mean, maybe some people will say that we are. I would assume that we are bringing some type of value, but
right. And I say that we kind of, it's like in the reptile hobby, you can have your further legacy be a couple things. One, you can come out with a brand new morph mutation pattern or whatever, and you can make sure that your name is stitched to it so that it will follow through the annals of history. Even then, though, people might have no idea why the fuck it's there. Like, how many generations that you're like, I don't know what MBB means. Like, it's like, okay. But you can do that, or, you can contribute something like a new technology, or I kind of always felt that our main contribution, because ain't nobody going to come around knocking down a door for a McIntyre line animal. Like, they're nice, I like them, but
your Carmels are pretty nice, man.
They are, but it's that maybe at some point the interviews and stuff that we do can get looked back on and kind of be part of it. I know that there's the reptile library that Bob Ashley's doing down at his place, and part of me is like, can we just get our show like on audio files and just send them and be like, Bob, just put them on a shelf or something. Like, make sure they're there. Like, make sure somebody somewhere can get to them if they want to do it, and that kind of stuff. So
I feel like when I guess another part of it, and then I guess this is another part of like doing a podcast, so people know, like, once you committed to it and stuff, and this, Owen, it's like sort of like when you commit to something, you feel if you don't deliver on that commitment, you feel like you've let those people down, I guess, or it's kind of like that kind of thing. And it's like, I don't like that. I guess is what I'm saying. But, it's like it bothers me, and that it just adds to probably really just stemming from my home situation. Not that me and Tori, not like that. But
not
just
that
like
one.
just the whole shit that my family's going through. And I don't really haven't mentioned this, but my nephew's been in the hospital for a month and a half. He was in a coma. He hadn't moved for like 20 days, and like they had him in a coma and all. So it's like I'm watching kids. I'm not used to having fucking kids around here, man.
I don't have children. There's a reason I don't.
There's 3 girls here today, and I'm watching them by myself, and I was just like, what the hell?
So
it's been so long since I watched my little sisters. What's going on?
So how about them Phillies? Good? No? Okay. Shit.
Thank God we have a pool.
Well, it's on. It's there. It is. It's wet. Yeah.
But I don't know. It's kind of those things. But I think about that. Like I want. I want our legacy to be a good thing and a positive thing for herpetoculture. So holding to that standard and making sure that we're always trying to do up the game. I don't know how you would say it. I
think we just keep trying to. I mean, obviously, do the greatest hits of what people would expect from us. But then, if we want to add something new, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But
it's not even like I see sometimes we went through it many times where it's like you want to change the.
We're not doing a goddamn magazine. Will you just fucking drop the magazine at this point? Oh.
No, I mean like adding in extra species and and doing things that are off of brand, let's say, or whatever, or not even Morelia. I think to me, I sort of look at us as like a Python show.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I kind of look at that as, and that's why it works so well with, the guys do the colubrid one, the other guys do the boa one, we're doing the Python one. So it's kind of like minus venomous. We pretty much got all the main ones that are in the hobby covered, so I don't know. I'm just rambling.
Yeah, it was a nice tangent I took us on for a quick little thing of
sure, 100%.
Yeah.
I will say this is something that actually did make me feel quite good today. I went out to my mailbox just before a little while ago. We started the show and whatnot, and in there was a copy of a book that I've been looking for a long time. It's called The Biology and Management of the Diamond Python and Carpet Python by Richard Shine.
That's cool.
And shout out to Marty for hooking that up. He actually even got it signed.
That's awesome.
Shine. So it's just, mean, when you just have people like that just support you and all that, it just it was a highlight to a rather shitty day. So it was good to see that. But I've been looking for this thing for I think 8 years.
Jesus, really?
Yeah, you can't find it anywhere.
I mean, I to be honest, I looked after you showed it to me, and I'm like, nope, can't find it. So
no. But it's awesome. Like that. I guess maybe we do have some kind of reach or influence,
some clout somewhere. God damn it.
So, but shout out to Marty for hooking that up. That was awesome. Thank you so much. Cool. I can't wait to read it.
Yeah. Yeah. Now you're
I'm trying to read that while the kids are swimming in the pool. I'm like, just
look at me,
pool.
Uncle Eric. Yeah, great. Yes, fine. It's wonderful.
Diamond pythons.
Diamond python. Listen, I got to get through this so that I can breed this year. All right.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, if I have this thing and I can't breed after that, well, then I don't know. So, But
yeah, no, that's cool. That is cool.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like maybe just an accumulation of maybe all the papers that he's done.
Is it research paper?
No, it's kind of like
a bunch of different ones.
Yeah, no, it's not even that. Like, this is just reproduction biology. Then it has a section on mating, what they're doing in the wild. A lot of it is taken from his papers, and I think it was 1988 he did those. Female reproductive cycle, and even at the very end, it talks about management. I guess that's more management in the field, research, and then it talks about, even has a spot at the end for how you would keep them in captivity. So
cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
When you guys go in October, he's going to bring you back a crocodile skull and the Owen Pelly book. Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's how this is going to go. I'm going to send you with a list. Don't think I won't. So
Crocodile skull. Check.
Owen Pelly book. Check. Okay.
Wait, when we go into what is it? Souvenirs? We have to market souvenirs.
Just market souvenirs. Just market souvenirs.
Yeah.
Wooden bowl. Oh God, Keith, no.
Excuse me, sir. We're gonna have to take.
We're
you
gonna
off
need
this
to
plane.
take you in the back. Oh no.
It's like, oh shit. So, but yeah, a couple things. Carpet Fest. I've been slacking on that too, but I will. Is that why people think we're on a hiatus?
I don't know.
Because of Carpet Fest.
I don't know. It's
probably even people that don't listen to the show.
I probably, and then I think, did we upload the last episode of Carpets and Coffee?
Yeah, I think so.
I didn't appear on my podcast app, so I don't know what was going on there.
Oh, shit.
Well, that might be it, too, where it's like, is something not uploading because now you're like, you guys are not where you're supposed to be. But we are.
Oh,
like,
maybe that's the problem. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. I'll have to look at that after the show.
I should really tell you these things when I find, like, nice. Okay. Why is the boat listing? Oh, right. I forgot to tell you. We've been sinking. Oh.
So here's a funny story. I've been herping so much and traveling over the past couple of years with you guys. Mm. And me and Dory haven't really taken like an official vacation, so to speak, like we used to. Right. So all of my traveling has been herping or herp related trips.
Yep.
Right. And so we're in the car and we're driving to the shore, and I'm the first I have some questions, like, like when you're driving, I'm used to having.
Please tell me you didn't start doing the Justin thing where it's like, hey guys, what do you feel about it?
No.
Okay.
No. She's sitting next to me, and like, when you're in the driver's seat herping, which, by the way, I haven't driven a herp trip in a long time because between Justin always driving, Phil, he always, like, the one trip we were on with him, he rented the car. And
the last time I drove a herp trip, we were in Australia.
Brandon, he drove the whole time. It was just like, I mean, it's good, but at the same time, I feel like I'm not pulling my weight. But anyway, It was. When I am driving, Rob's usually in the co-pilot seat because he's got the directions, where we're going, whatever.
You think of Rob
excellent co-pilot,
reptile,
excellent co-pilot.
Yes,
he predicts the next moves you're going to make. He's he's like very on point.
When you all start getting hungry, he goes, "I think we're going to stop for some supper." Oh, all right,
yes, exactly. My wife, she wasn't the best co-pilot on the trip.
Just doesn't care.
And I said to her, which was a mistake. You can imagine what I said. Not in a mean way, but I said, man, you're really sucking at being a co-pilot. I need Stone here to get me to the shore. Big mistake.
That was probably the worst thing you could have said there. Yeah.
Not because she was mad. She was just kind of like her feelings were hurt. And I was like, I don't know. Maybe we're rusty at being pilot and co-pilot.
Yeah,
said,
maybe
you can be the pilot. I'll be the co-pilot. Like, what the heck? But it was just weird, like traveling. And we just went to the shore. It wasn't like we went anything crazy. And like, I'm just so used to having like an itinerary where we're going to be, you know what I mean?
What are we going to do tomorrow? We're going to get up and just kind of feel how it goes. What?
We can't do that.
What? What's the target species? We're going to the beach.
What time do we have to be there?
What are we doing? How long
when we get there?
Where's the hike? What are we eating afterwards?
That was the other thing that I noticed. Wait, this is great. This is how much Rob's influenced me on our trips. Is that we go all day without eating, and she's like, when are we going to eat? Are you hungry? What's wrong? I'm like, what do you mean? I was like, see, usually when I'm traveling, I'm not eating it. So we just don't eat.
I don't think about food until we're in the middle of a gas station, and Rob's like, listen, this is the only food you were going to get tonight. Oh, God.
Yeah, so that was fun.
Fun trip.
Yeah. Yep. Nah, she was funny about it,
That's awesome.
It's just weird how it's been, God, we've been traveling since 2018.
Yeah.
And I think the last like real place. Like, I mean, we've been places, but like usually our vacation has been eaten up by
family stuff. Yeah.
Going to see family and stuff like that. So it's not like not like a trip,
Right.
So.
Right. It's not been an enjoyable trip. It's been a trip.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, yeah. It just seems that way. But, I don't even know how we got on that tangent.
No, how are we doing this? We're not doing well. We're all over the place. We should talk about a snake somewhere.
I don't know. Yeah. Right. Oh, I was talking about Carpet Fest. So
yeah.
I tomorrow I have some free time before or after going to the hospital, but I will definitely get that all taken care of. I sort of have I don't have a logo though. That's what I need. That's what's sort of holding me back.
All right. So should we see what the intern's doing? I
suppose. Is he good with logos?
He's good with logos. He's good with things. He does things. I say ask him if he can find something or tweak something or do something,
Yeah. Well, we will get it together and we will have it.
Because I want to get the shirts going.
Yes.
Because we're in September, so I'd like to give everybody a month this way. And if anybody comes to us at Carpet Fest and says they didn't have time, I can smack them with a shirt. Yeah. So,
and then there's also the Colubrid Fest. Going on.
Yeah.
I would love to go out and hang out.
I would like to go out there.
We'll have to see how that shapes out because when is that? I think that's September too. No.
I think so. Hold on.
Yeah. Pull it up. Pull it up on the machine.
Go to the time machine and pull that up. Yeah. Okay.
Their situation is more like an iCast type of situation.
It is.
Show afterwards. It's sort of where I sort of wanted to take Carpet Fest, but
we got bogged down by all the insane things. There we go.
Well, they had a similar situation. Remember how difficult it was to try to find like a place?
Yeah. So Colubrid Fest is September 27th through the 29th.
Yeah. So
I would like to go because I think I could go there and be like, "Hi, I have colubrids," and
Yeah, you would be welcome with open arms.
I mean, yeah.
Me, on the other hand, it would be like,
why'd you bring the non-believer? What?
It's like the Python guys here. Oh, my God. We're going to have to hear about the Python.
He's cool. He's with me. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I like snakes, guys. Like, isn't that count for something? Not in their eyes.
Your father would go and be like, I keep my king snake outside. And people like, tell us more.
Yeah, he keeps it the most unconventional
way, and it works.
And it's as old as my brother.
Yeah, there you go. So obviously something right.
Yeah. Well, in Carpet Python news, I'm not going to say what it is because I don't want people spamming Mr. Harris's mailbox.
Mm-hmm.
But he produced some really cool Carpet Pythons. One, we know what it is. I'm not going to tell the people what it is.
No.
But I'm pretty excited that he produced it. So congrats to him.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then the other one that I thought was quite nice, which I was really glad to see that it looks way different than the Maclots looking super zebra granite, but this also has hypo in it.
Yeah. Isn't that is this kind of what you always thought super zebras would have been at without the granite? Like this is kind of like, I see where the granite pattern is up setting the super zebra, but it's like, I always figured this would be what a super zebra would look like.
I love the eyes. Yes. Yeah, they really make it pop. The gold, it's like gold, I guess. It's like a gold yellow, and maybe going down the back, sort of like what you're saying. It's sort of look like, I would imagine if it didn't have the hypo and that's making it yellow, or I guess that's pulling out the black too.
I guess, or it muted the other colors that would have been there for the making it that Maclot's Python look kind of thing.
to where it almost looks pinkish.
Yeah.
Like a very like the head, you can see it more.
Mm-hmm.
But, as you're going down, it just gets brighter and brighter yellow, which is really nice.
Nuts.
It's really, and if you want to see what we're talking about, just go to UK Python's Facebook or Instagram, and you'll see it.
Yeah,
it's quite nice. So I'm glad to see, because I know for me, anything I did super zebra wise, except once, they all died in the egg. So
I have yet to do super zebra.
Oh, well, I think you run into more problems with super zebra when you start combining other morphs into it.
Like super zebra jag is really going to be messed up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
That makes sense. That. Yeah.
That's a terrible. That goes in the ring python category.
To do the ring python, but I mean, you did zebra jag before I did. Where my thing is, I kind of like to piece it together and be like, here's a good jag, and then build up, here's a good zebra, combine. All right. Rather than just together. But I mean, I like my zebra jags. I'm not going to vacate cages and turn my entire projects of caramel things, or I can appreciate a zebra jag. I can appreciate a super zebra. They're gorgeous animals. They're awesome. I get more pumped about I got more pumped about the M-Pen caramels.
Yeah, right.
Caramels I produced this year,
so true.
Which is why I am a coastal person. Yeah.
I wonder, well, let me ask this question. Do you think that jags have sort of like really been knocked back a notch as far as just even their availability? Not even so much even just we don't know the whole, the debate that's should you do it or should you not do it.
I mean, we've been here and done that.
It's old. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is, have people, sort of said, it came to the same conclusion that I sort of come to. It's like, these are beautiful animals. Do I really want to do this? I don't know if I want to work with this or not. I know you still work with some.
I do. I have.
I know Curtin still works with some, right?
So it's weird because in some lights, I would say you're 100% correct. And Jag has kind of taken a back burner to a lot of things.
Right.
Because other projects are out here that give people the satisfaction without having to deal with the whew and other crap like that.
Right.
But I will say that a good-looking jungle jag still stops everybody in their.
Oh my God, man!
It happens.
The gammas. I mean, Martin just produced a clutch of gammons.
Dear God,
I mean, gamma.
Dear God,
yes.
It's
it's nuts.
The ultraviolet girl that I got from you is stunning. Yeah. She's a bitch, but she's stunning. It's like, It's weird because I have a couple jags, and I would say out of my jags, there is still a varied thing. So I had the Ocelot jag that I got from you from UK Pythons, and she was a jag with a capital J. Yep. But I found a friend that's working on Ocelot projects who wanted to take her. And then I have a tiger jag that I produced that she is very flighty. And because she's very flighty, she jags all the time. And then I have the V jag from you. She's great. She only ever jags when I'm trying to put her away or put her someplace she doesn't want to go.
Yeah, V was not really that jaggy.
He was not.
No.
But then I also have the ultraviolet jag girl that doesn't show any jag to her, but she's also a heat-seeking missile.
Yeah.
So rather than being jagged, she's put all her neurological problems into aggression. So I have that. And then I also have jags that I'm raising up. I'm raising an Xanic caramel jag right now. I have caramel jags and super caramel jags and stuff like that. So, but I would say there's definitely people that are kind of spacing away from it, but I also had no problem selling any of the Jags that I produced the last couple of years.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask.
There are people that still want them, especially because a good looking caramel Jag,
dude, it's
very, very pretty. You know,
hard,
you know,
it's hard to beat it, man.
Yeah, and I had a male that was throwing some really nice colored babies for a while. Mm-hmm. He's the dad to the one I kept, the Super Caramel Jag Needle.
Right.
So, but her siblings, a couple kids got away and have turned out phenomenal, like great color. And that's fun because in the next couple of years, I'm going to start putting. All right. We're going to peek behind the curtain for a little bit.
Yes. Just open the curtain.
There is methods to my madness.
Okay.
So, and one of those methods is I wanted to establish a really nice caramel and caramel stripe project.
Okay.
To build onto my Super Caramel Jag project. So in the next couple of years, I'm going to start having these caramel tigers and these caramel stripes mix in with a lot of my caramel Jags and caramel and Super Caramel Jags.
It's going to be incredible.
Like yeah. So the idea is to get kind of better caramel color. So I have the really nice caramel color, but then there are other colors. Now, what if those other colors were M-Pen colors, where it's like yellowish and other kinds of really nice colors that go with? It's like, okay, so it goes back to the whole, if you add something really good to something really good, you're going to get really good. So this has been around the barn kind of way of doing that. The other thing on the other side is that I've been creating my own Exanic tigers to cross with my with the hypo tigers that we just produced. Yeah, you and I.
Was well, I didn't produce them. I mean,
you did what you do, and you're like, take this, okay? Don't have to tell me twice. Like it's that kind of thing where it's eventually you'll take a really good looking hypo tiger and cross it to a really good looking Exanic tiger, and you won't just make. Like the idea is not to get like one or two really good looking things. It's to get like a whole clutch of them or a good clutch. Yeah. So that's it. Now the curtain is drawn again, and none of you will ever know what's going on over here ever again. Like it's
I think that's awesome. People should think that way when it comes to breeding projects. That's
it's worked for me. It's worked for me before. It's so far that seems to be the method that I keep going with, where I get something and then you kind of keep crossing it and see how you can go. Because I mean, I was looking back at some of the like my original caramel Jags. They look nothing like the ugliest caramel Jag that comes out of the egg over here. Still beats like its grandfather by so much.
Oh yeah, man!
Like, night and freaking day, and it's like, all right, well, in the next couple of years, what else am I going to be looking at? So, of course, I do that, and then I'm like, you'll be fun, boas. Like it's like,
yeah, but some of your projects you're just doing to breed them, right? Like not saying that you're going to ditch them as soon as you breed them, but like. I know that there's some certain projects that you're like you bred them a couple times and you're just like, okay, there's no.
Listen, like, I'm not going to take the rainbow boa world by storm. Right. I'm going to produce them. I'm going to sell them, and then I'm not even going to hold any back. It's just going to be like, cool, rainbow boas. There you go, rainbow boas. Like that's the whole thing. You don't build a project. So
yeah. Whereas like your bread and butter, you're sort of like,
I'll never ditch carpets. No,
establishing a strong army to sort of
listen. There's also you have to think that each project has my level of interest. Okay,
correct.
It's like caramel is like we have to breed this to do that. It's like the only thing for rough scales is just a giant stamp on it that says small army. Like that's all I want. Just to,
you have like it's like Crebo. Or Carinata. Yeah, without a doubt.
Let's win. I'm restarting that project, which is fun because I never raised up one of my albinos that I produced.
Mm-hmm.
But I got one back from a friend of mine because I lost my female and I'd sold him a girl albino. So we did like a trade and stuff like that. So I got the girl back, and then I have a Posset baby boy. Mm-hmm. And it's cool to watch them go through the color change because I saw that happen with their parents. But this is an albino. Right. So like the color changes. And the good thing about a Carinata is it is probably, and she's a T-Pos albino. And because she's a T-Pos and because she's got all this color stuff going on, it's the closest you get to an albino carpet python. Like we're talking like all the different colors you get in a carpet python albino, the lavenders and all that other stuff.
Sure.
Gorgeous.
Wow.
Beautiful animal. It's not just like, oh, it's white and yellow like a berm.
Yeah, right. It's funny. You brought up albinos. I'll segue into this one real quick because Royal Reptile. So this is the cool thing about if you're into like Australian pythons or really just Australian species in general. Yeah, it's like here when we're in the when the eggs are hatching here down on Australia, they're beginning to put pairs together and all that kind of stuff. So it's like constantly seeing new things pop out. I've talked about these albinos before. I know they're mutts and crosses and all that stuff, but when I put this picture up, come on, man.
Jesus.
Come on, man. Like, that looks like candy.
All right. So
my guess is that this is a inland albino. And I think that the one that's like, so it's like this intense yellow.
Yeah.
And intense orange. And the orange is the pattern or the saddles of the carpet python, of a carpet python. So just imagine, so if you're not seeing this.
What is it, an albino bredli?
Well, I think the other one is an albino bredli.
So we're breeding an albino
Darwin or an albino inland to an albino bredli.
Just get through it. Okay, we're breeding an albino bredli to an albino inland
crosses, right?
So
it'll have bredli, Darwin,
Variegata,
inland, and
yeah. Okay,
so it's only 3 subspecies, or 1 species and 2 subspecies.
Only 3 subspecies. Yeah. God.
Holy shit, man! Talk about selective breeding. Again.
Well, I like the idea of like obviously seeing what happens, but see, my mind is I would try to get 2 mates that would play to both those animals' strengths because I have no idea what those babies are going to come out looking like.
Yeah, I don't know where the direction is with it because the other snake, which would, again, I'm just taking a guess, just the tail pattern is very banded.
Yeah.
The spotty dots at the top, like towards
like
the
whitish, like cream.
The neck and the whatnot, but just the pattern itself screams bredli to me, or bredli cross.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you got like this area here is like you usually see that in bredli, right?
Yeah, you
Those
do.
spots and stuff, and then down at the tail, it's
all banded. Yeah. Yeah. And it's hard to tell when you've taken away the color.
That too, right?
Yeah.
But the other part of it is that typically, do I have this right? That the black becomes the white, right? In an albino?
I think so. I mean, normally the base
I don't
color.
know, man. We're in crazy territory here when we don't know shit.
Normally
I get
the
messages about colubrids.
Normally the base color becomes the white, and then the pattern becomes that like orangey other color, or the yellow and that kind of sense. So
let's see.
That's weird. Those babies are going to be all over the place. That'd be weird to kind of see. I don't even know. That's nuts.
Look. How does albino affect black?
Find out what it is.
Pigment.
But I don't know why anybody's not bred an albino imbricata.
Skin hair. People with albinism have reduced or absent melanin in the tissues.
Black.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying that those white spots
will be were the black. Yeah.
Or the darker, let's say. It's not like they're solid black. But
right.
Yeah. So okay.
Either way, they're interesting. Very, very
man.
pretty.
I would love just to have the orange and yellow one.
Which, and I know we've talked about this a couple times where it's like, maybe you just want a really pretty snake like that to set up and just kind of watch this yellowy orange thing just, chill, and you don't have to necessarily breed it. So
Royal Reptile, they got a lot of cool stuff that they have going on down there, and
people breed fish just to have for other people to put in their houses in giant ass aquariums to let it be a very pretty fish that runs around. Like,
sure.
Yeah.
So, they do that. We do that with dogs, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah.
Kind of do all that stuff. Breed traits that are detrimental to the dog.
Stops being he can't go outside, he'll die. What? Like, it's a dog. Oh no, he can't breathe. Oh,
he used to be a wolf. He's been reduced to this.
Look what you freaking done!
A lump of cells and tissue that can't breathe. So poor dog.
Oh God.
Well, I was going to ask, like, what's your let's ask this. Have any of the hypos shed yet? No. Okay.
Keep looking.
Damn it.
Because I sat there and I'm like, you look good. No, Owen, you're doing what you're not supposed to do.
Yes. Eric sitting on my shoulder yelling at me. You told me not to wait.
So, and it's hard because they do come out red, which I was expecting, what we've been told,
and the rest of the clutch did not?
I think only like 2 or 3 animals did not. We got a lot of potential hypos out there. I think it's going to be, again, a sliding scale where it's like, this one's reddish. This one's fucking red. Like this, like that kind of a thing. And of course, the really, really bright red ones are not the ones with the really nice stripes because, of course, no chance in hell that was going to happen. It's like, I don't even know why I was thinking it. Yeah. But there's 2 that look very, very promising.
Okay.
And of course, they're a boy and a girl. So,
okay.
The other ones are not slouches. They all look, one of them, one girl was feisty as hell, biting everything. And I'm like, good.
Yes.
Like, just let
the evil burn.
Let the evil flow. Good.
Yes. Excellent.
So I'm waiting. I set them all up because I had them together, but I really wanted to set them up apart to kind of get a better feel for them. So I did that. So they're all separated. But yeah, we're just waiting. It's weird because it almost feel like I'm not, because it's July. So normally I at least have like 1 clutch carpets on the ground by now, carpets and feed trials.
Right.
And we haven't got there yet. And I'm like, what the hell am I doing? Like I have Mad Hogs that I'm putting through feed trials, which I ended up hatching my second clutch without noticing. I went down there. I'm like, I should check on these eggs. And there were 3 babies running around. And I'm like, they hatched. Like, okay, good job. Right. So, but I mean, normally I'd be like, you'd have the pace, you'd have the cycle, it's Sunday. And on Sundays, we pound our head against the wall trying to get baby snakes to eat. And I haven't got there yet. And it feels like the season's almost over, which I know it's July. Yeah. So we should be wrapping it up. Obviously, I'm feeding the adults heavy to get them ready. Everything's eating. The thing is, I didn't breed that much this year. So it's not like I don't have a female where I'm like, you must feed. Otherwise, you will never. Everybody looks pretty good. Even the mother of the hypo tigers. I mean, she went back to back. She threw 10 eggs, but she didn't stop eating the entire time. Like, I separated them, fed them both, put them back together, and then they were breeding. So she did not lose weight. She's a monster.
Yeah,
she's a vicious killing machine. You know,
I got that snake from Zach, who got that snake from Ted. Bought it from Ted Temple. Ted
Thompson. Yep.
Yeah, Thompson.
Yep. She's amazing. She's a fantastic mom. Yes. And every single one of, and she has produced some of the best babies out of any of my shit. And she's a great tiger, but she's a killer. Yeah. She's a monster, and she's getting next year off. So
she was when she was in my collection, she was one of those animals that you never held her. Yeah. Don't touch her.
Don't touch it. Yeah. You need a hook. If she's looking at you, don't go for the water. Yeah.
Hands off.
Yeah.
Pretend she's venomous.
It's weird because her daughter is coming back, and she was the mom to the Exanic tigers I produced last year. So her daughter is coming back because her daughter was on loan, and she's going to breed with the hypo next year.
Okay.
So we'll have hypo's pos head Exanic.
Hypo's pos head. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. That sounds awesome. I can't wait to see them. I can't wait to see what they look like.
Yeah. Well, you got to come get your
feeders. Yep, I know. Yep.
So
I was maybe I can swing next week, but we'll look at it for sure.
I don't go anywhere. I don't leave my prison.
Yeah, I know.
This is where I am constantly. Yeah.
I'm here.
Yeah, always. Are you gonna? Yes, God, I'll be around. Yes.
Okay. I thought we would transition to. I saw this post, and I don't know if I have all my thoughts together or not. And I sort of asked you what you thought about it, and thought maybe we could sort of begin the process of talking about it.
Right.
And it was basically somebody posting up about iNaturalist is the worst thing to happen to herp conservation. If you post your herp finds on iNaturalist, you're actively contributing to the rapid decline of herp populations.
All right.
Oh, shit.
So my thing about that is this is like the whole I don't tell people my herping spots because once I do, they'll devastate everything. And I can understand that in certain places where collection is legal, or if you're going after a certain species that may be a little bit more on the protected side and stuff like that. But some people it's like fishing spots, You assume that you're the only guy who knows it. And if you tell people, they're going to bring people and it's going to be that. And then one time you show up and there's more than 6 people there and you're like, someone's giving it up. It's all horrible. Like, I get it. This was your spot, but you're also not the only person on this planet who knows where that is. So I guess I would hope that places aren't being absolutely like strip mined of reptiles because you posted it up on iNaturalist. I do know that certain places use that for research studies of where certain animals can be found and what populations. And I also know it's not just reptiles, but also insects, birds, plants, anything can kind of be tossed up there. And I would also say that a lot of people on iNaturalist tend to disagree with you on your what you posted, because I remember we had that thing with that monitor that Rob got into after Australia, where a bunch of people from iNaturalist disagreed with monitor, like said that we faked it. It's like, well, what? So
yeah,
I don't know. I would hope that's not true, but I guess I just don't see it. Like if I found a timber rattlesnake in PA and uploaded it to iNaturalist, I don't know if people would just start ripping timbers out of the spot where we go. And I kind of feel like that if somebody was trying to tick off timbers on their herp list, maybe this is a play. Like we use iNaturalist to find a lot of the shit that we look for,
Yeah. Well, I think, a couple things. First, there's another app that I'm aware of. It's called Herp Mapper.
Okay.
I think Mike Pingleton is involved with that somehow. I don't know if he owns it or started it or is some way part owner of it. I'm not sure. But in those, they don't share locations. They just sort of share it's from South. I don't even like the U.S. or it's from Australia or something like that, so it's kind of obscured. I know on iNaturalist, they obscure the
protected species.
Well, I think I want to say that I think that there's an option in there. See, I never really. So back in 2018, when we first started, when our first trip to Australia, Rob was sort of, even back then he was sort of like, putting the itinerary together for the trips and whatnot. And I think the thinking was that, you would kind of like look in these spots, but it's not like it's not telling you the exact spot to where it's going to be,
right?
Because you can. So I'm not sure if you have that option or if it automatically does it. But I want to say that I think it automatically will do it, and then I think you can maybe even go a step further and like totally, you know what I mean? Like it's not putting it really in a spot per se. I kind of have the feeling that, and again, I'm just thinking out loud. These are just thoughts that are coming to my head as we're sort of having this conversation. But, so wait, academics get the information, but normal people can't get the information. I think it's just like with anything, man. There's going to be somebody that comes along that's not ethical, or
right. There's going to be bad people that come around and use.
There's bad people in everything, and it's like, do you I don't know. Will you lose people's interest if they're not able to go and herp? And I we've been on trips since then, and we've gone on at least 2 or 3 a year, which I guess since then it's not a ton. Sometimes we went on more than 4, but I've only run into a situation once where I actively saw somebody taking animals to sell.
I know we were behind some people when we went to Texas.
Yes.
Like where we went and stayed, the guy said that other people were there collecting.
Yeah.
And I know we had to get permits and stuff like that to go through that kind of stuff. And if you have to get a fishing license or a permit, they are monitoring it to a certain extent, but again, it's one of those. Yeah,
I guess
I would hope that you're
taking or whatever.
Right. I would hope there would be some sort of land management thing or species management done by Department of Ag or whatever, or the game commission in that state to monitor the health of the species. But again, you're sitting here and it's like people are going to find a way to get these animals regardless of what you do. And also, just because I posted a picture of me finding a snake in that one spot, how many times have we gone places where like this place, sure, fucking fire, bet. Right. You're going to be all the things show, and just happens to be not the right night.
Yeah, you have that too. Yeah, for sure. I don't want like native populations to be decimated of anything. But then I think at the same time, they're just doing it anyway. Like, right. You can conserve the animal all you want, but if the animal doesn't have an environment to be in, then guess what?
Like, it doesn't matter. Yeah. And also these are not, we're not trudging through the jungle, finding a rare snake that no one's ever found before, and then immediately posting its thing to iNaturalist. It's like all these things are known. All these areas are known. We're just happen to find a hot spot, which might not necessarily be a hot spot. It just might be that there's 2 that keep getting spotted.
Yeah, I was going to say, I probably didn't finish this thought when I was saying it, but earlier when I was saying that Rob was sort of the one that was working with iNaturalist was because when we came back from Australia, there's no point in putting, like if there's 5 people on the trip, all 5 people don't put it could mess it up in a way. Right. You know what I mean? Right. Because you're sort of saying that this animal was found 5 times at this spot. And I guess it's possible that it could be found 5 times by 5 different people. I guess that is very possible. But
yeah, but the problem is that so you and I are hiking.
Yeah.
And there's a blackhead.
Yep.
And I take a picture and post, you take a picture and post, and Rob takes a picture and post.
Yeah.
Cool. As we're leaving, which happened, I think, once or twice in Australia, another car full of herpers shows up.
Right.
They're like, what do you have? Well, it's this. Cool. So we leave, and then this group of 4, they each take a picture of the blackhead and post. Mm-hmm. And then they leave. And as they're leaving, maybe somebody else pulls up, or as after they go, the snake goes across the road a little bit and gets caught by somebody road cruising. And they have a couple people and they all post. All of a sudden now there's 12 entries of blackheads on this one road where it's just one snake that got caught 4 times. Like it's.
Well, I think of just the idea of like people being insane about like iNaturalists causing the worst thing for herp conservation. I think about motor vehicles as being the worst thing. You know what I mean?
So many other things that are worse for herp conservation.
Yeah.
I mean, the amount of far down on the ladder.
Yeah, the amount of dead snakes that I've seen on, that's kind of the biggest bummer of herping is like, that's kind of why I enjoy the hiking part of it, because it's not like you're not going to find it, but the chances are you're probably going to find a snake. If you find a dead snake that probably died of natural causes or died in the water, you know what I mean? Like it's not like it got hit by a car and smushed to then you have to make the decision. Oh, is the snake still alive? No, I'm the one that has to finish it. It's just a terrible situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think with that, I have to put a little more thought into it. But
and like you said, first off, if you're hiking down a trail and you see a DOR, I have questions. How the DOR got there, who's driving their car on the hiking road, like a lot of that kind of stuff. So, but we had an Atrox that had been hit by a car that wasn't going to make it, and we had to finish him off. Mm-hmm. That sucks, and
it does, because we actually like them,
right?
We're there to see them.
I like to see them. I like to picture them, and I like to go off in their merry way. Like when we were driving the one time in Arizona, we kept seeing this coyote that kept crossing the street, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and we came back once and it had been hit and dead. And I hate seeing that. It's anything like that kind of stuff. So there are so many other things. Roundups, development, lack of habitat, lack of food, lack of all this other stuff. And it's like, just because somebody posts a picture because they found it someplace, I don't think that there's so many other things that are on that. And also, I don't think any of the things that we would have taken a picture of and posted, if you go looking for it, you're committing so many crimes to take that thing. Like even in yours, like I don't know where you went, and I don't know what the state laws of where you went in Grand Canyon or something like that, but I think all those snakes are protected, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So
a lot of those rattlesnakes are protected. Yeah.
Right. And it's like, I looked at your thing on iNaturalist and I climbed down and I took it out of you took it. Did you? That's not okay. Like it's that kind of shit where it's like, I don't know. And
it's such a especially now with you look at YouTube, right? Being a part of what a young person is going to see coming into, having wanting to be involved with herpetoculture, whether it be just interested in snakes in general or wanting to keep them or wanting to see them or whatever. And you're going to have there's quite a bit of channels that are devoted to going and finding animals, I mean, but you can't say that that's not going to, like, somebody's going to want to do that,
right?
And just think of us. Just think of us, right? I mean, how long did we do NPR and talk about going to Australia to find snakes? And then
one of the main things that pushed us was because we both grew up watching shows where the herpetologist is like, we're going to go find this fucking thing. Here we are at this place looking for it. Holy crap. Right. Here it is. Like these spots are known. Like, you can't sit there and tell me, well, because of what people have done, everybody knows where all the Alterna are and they're grabbing them up. They were doing it before. It's in their names.
Well,
this is this and this.
I was going to say, like,
right? Like, wait,
the idea
it's all
that
there.
Somehow, I guess this person's argument would be, if I'm playing the other side of it, their argument would be that yes, it's in their name, and now everybody wants a snake from this specific locality. So they're going to go out and find it by looking at iNaturalist and going and finding it. And, but how they're going to take stuff out of the.
How is that different than, like, all right, let's say you and I found an untouched cut in Alterna Land.
Okay.
And we managed to find a gray band that is different than all the other ones.
Okay.
And we post about it, and we start breeding it, and people love it. And of course, people are going to go now to get this because of that. And how many people do you think are looking at iNaturalist, or just the fact that I said that this is this Alterna? Like,
yeah,
people are going to go. And also, like, just because you're one person who is protective over your herping spots, again, you're not the only person who managed to find this place. Because Mike Curtin really got into herping.
Yeah.
And he had a couple friends who were like, well, go to this place, go to that spot. You'll find some stuff here. You'll find stuff there. And they gave him broad paintbrushes of the areas. And then he went there and he found like little micro habitats, almost like pockets inside.
Yeah.
And he's walking around and he's taking pictures and he's sending them to the friends that turned him on to these spots. And he's like, this is freaking great. And they're like, oh, you found that. It's like, so you knew about it and you knew it was here. Like, and I understand maybe you didn't want to like put the pin directly in, but you still, like, it was only a matter of time before he found it, basically. Yeah. So what the hell is the point of not showing those kind of herping spots?
This is sort of in the same vein of similar to the post, but I guess you really have to feel comfortable with the person that you would be sharing
these with,
right? So, like, I mean, shit, I think about the times that we were doing podcasts about trip recaps and whatnot, and it's kind of like why I shied away from trying to do in like that big episode of like just the trip recap, because it just seemed like I'm always afraid I'm going to say something wrong, and then like when I'm in the heat of the excitement of sharing what we did, it almost feels like we're just sort of hanging out. You know what I'm saying? So it's easy to feel that you're just hanging out, and then you say the wrong thing, and then you're pissing people off.
And then Rob gets mad.
You're getting messages and stuff, and like, why did you do it? And then I have to go back and take it out or whatever, or not post the episode. And not like it's ever happened crazy like that, but it's just something that I worry about. So it's just easier not to do it.
It is. But here's the thing. Whatever we did to get onto that spot, to get those animals, somebody else could do.
Sure.
We are not special. We did not somehow find a mystical island where these animals are, and we have the only key to this island. Like,
I would say that in some of the situations that we've been, we've done things that have really pushed the limits of what we can do, or somebody can do, or I can do physically, to where it's going to require an enormous amount of effort in order to find said species. Yeah, you can look at it on a dot on the map, but like, I promise you, those rattlesnakes that are sitting at the bottom of the Grand Canyon, the people that find them most of the time, I would think, would be hikers that just sort of stumble upon them and don't really want to be involved with them. I would say that they're the huge percentage of the people that find that snake. I would say that the diehard herpers that we know and herp with would do that. But I don't think your average person that's going out to like look for snakes is going to go to that effort.
But
or even just take a trip to Australia. I mean,
that's the other part
Indonesia,
of it.
or
not everybody who posts a reptile on iNaturalist is a herper who's finding it. Sometimes they're just birders who are like snake, and then they figure out what it is.
That's true.
So you
or it's
can't
in their
like,
backyard.
Right. You can't just be like, yeah, it's no more. So it's the thing is that what I was saying is that if somebody wanted to find a pocket of a population of a certain species, just because they're not on iNaturalist doesn't mean they're going to stop. Anything that we did for research to find and get on a species, somebody else could do.
Yes, but I guess the argument would be,
is iNaturalist helping them? Sure,
don't make it easy for
fine,
them, right?
But again, they don't just sit there. It's not like here it is, there it is. You came to the magic spot. You have been awarded with the Owen belly python. Like, no, it's they move. They're not necessarily going to be there. And again, how many times did we get reports on iNaturalist of, like, I'll take a good right there, of Owen pelly python because birders were there and this snake is eating the bird that they're trying to look at.
I want to say like the one person was
a spider person who happened to find it in the parking lot, and then there was a birder who took pictures of it.
Yeah, there was a birder that took pictures of an Owen pelly eating a bird.
Right. So again, it's not just herpers that are on there.
Sure.
And just because we don't post it doesn't mean they're not going to get posted.
I know a lot of scrub pythons and a lot of Indonesian pythons that end up on iNat are usually
same deal. I think most of the time, I think you hit the nail right on the head. Most of the time, it's being uploaded by somebody who's, I'm hiking, what the fuck is that? And then taking a picture, uploading it to iNaturalist, and iNaturalist is like, it's a patch nose. Oh, okay.
Well, I think of the pine barrens, the pine snakes in the pine barrens, right?
Yeah. Everybody thinks every single pine snake they find in the pine barrens is a rattlesnake.
Right. Well, no, I'm just saying from the aspect of like when we first were going to go on a trip to the Pine Barrens, that was one that I kind of looked at because I actually live here, by here. So it was kind of like, let me look at this and see like if I see anything that, pops out of somewhere I know where this is or whatever the case would be. And I remember seeing quite a few of them were snakes in people's backyards.
Well, I know some herpers who,
and how pissed were we that we're like trudging through.
I know it's like you eat alive by mosquitoes,
and all the bugs and the poison ivy.
Depends on
we don't find it. This person finds it sipping a beer
in their yard.
Yeah.
But it also depends on what's going on. Because I remember you and I went to a place with Matt and stuff like that. And we walked all up and down that freaking place.
Yeah.
And then I went there with Kurt and Balin and Dan and Stacy. And we found like a black rat snake, a black racer. Like it was like one right after the other. And it's like, okay. So it's that, again, you just got to be on it. And I know some people who I've sent pictures of animals that I've gone herping with, friends and stuff like that, but like how we found an Eastern hognose. Oh, you found this here? Yeah. I have never seen one there. And I've been there all the freaking time. Like I don't, just because it's there and you observe it doesn't mean that it's going to be there next time.
How do you get people excited about nature if they can't
share it
and see it?
Well, dude, there's some,
what I mean?
Some herpers out there. There are some herpers out there that will get pissed off if you take somebody to their herping spot and don't take them with you.
Yeah.
And some of these people don't have driver's license and then require it. And like, okay. So, and they take great offense to that. And it's like, well, dude, like, what do you want here? And also it's like, these are the people also who are like, but tell me your spots. It's like, well, wait, I'm not allowed to do anything with like, to do anything with your spots without your permission, but you want my spots. It's like, I will tell anybody anything where I have found any reptile at any point, because you know what? Somebody had to tell me and approach me and take me. And I found things that I would have never seen without that kind of help. And I feel like hiding that from somebody is a dick move. There you go.
Yeah. I would agree. I think you have to be careful with who you do share it with, but you definitely
if they're holding a bunch of plastic bins and they're like, go for snakes, eh? Yeah. Like maybe don't tell them what's going on.
Deli cups in the back of their car, but you might want to.
I guess it's just weird for us because ain't nobody going out and collecting decay snakes like in mass quantities. Yeah. So.
Nobody gives a shit about Eastern garter snakes.
Exactly. Like, why would you do that? If somebody's like, I collected all the garter snakes, why? Like, why would you do that? And also, a lot of other snakes in our area, legality is a thing. Like, if I hear somebody went up to the place where we went and captured a shit ton of timbers, I'm calling Fish and Game. Like, right? Yeah. Like, okay, that's nice. Anyway, like it's not something you do.
It sucks. It really sucks that this would be a spot where, because I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, I apologize about this, but I kind of get the feel that from the comments that I read, I didn't read them all, but I read some, and it seemed like a lot of them were sort of coming from it should only be academic and da 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 da. But like, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like when it comes to academics, it's like, they want to keep this information, like even just, I don't know. You explain to me, like the idea of a paper, and I know you can get them on Google Scholar, but I can't tell you how many times somebody has talked about a paper and I try to get it and I'm blocked by a paywall. And I'm not saying that somebody shouldn't be paid for their
work,
their work and all that. And I get that and whatnot. But like at the same time, I think like, why are you even doing that? Like, it almost gives me that like it's an elitist type of feel, and maybe I'm wrong, and maybe I'm just like I'm.
Well, I mean, papers, like you said, research is done, and they are published, and sometimes in certain journals,
sure,
things like that. Yeah. So they want you to. There is that money aspect of it. That's one of those like, would you like the Wall Street Journal? No, I just want to read the article. No,
right?
Like, okay, fine, I'll go to a different website and find it there. But there's no different website. So I get that. I understand that. I feel like there should be a way to get the knowledge if you want it, and I guess in their thinking, it is. You just got to pay for it.
Well, here's the thing. I even pay for a subscription to academia, right?
Right. So you should be able to get things.
But there's things I still can't get.
Well, that's just because if they haven't made an agreement with them or anything like that, or they don't want to have their shit on that, which
I suppose, but I just think like, how is that information supposed to get to people? Like if you want people to care about the environment, if you want people to care about snakes, like, we talk this game about, save the snakes, and nobody cares about them, and the good snake is a dead snake, and all of this stuff. And like, I would think that if you're getting into academia to sort of, try to study snakes and try to like not make them the way they are and whatnot. Like look at Zach, he's to me, he's a perfect example of somebody that's, has a good feel for both, like feeling that the both of those worlds can coexist together.
Right.
Because ultimately, I think Zach just loves snakes, right? I mean, he's just super passionate about snakes, and like he wants other people to understand what it is, like why he likes them so much. That's the Steve Irwin effect. It's the Mark O'Shea, all of those people that we look to sort of tell us about what's going on in the environment. It's like, do you have to be a certain level in order to sort of, and then we, herpetoculture sort of says do your own research. Then what's that? Research is obscured, and I don't know. I'm just
not that way.
Like spitballing thoughts and stuff and whatnot. But
I also know that in some instances, the academic papers are in the school library, and that's like a thing where it's like we have all these papers and stuff like that, and there's free sharing between different academic institutions, but it's like it's kind of almost like come here for our herpetology thing and the cool shit we got in the library. I don't know. I wish it was a little bit more accessible, but again, I think observations in a whole, when you have more people out there making observations for
that's citizen science, right?
Yes, exactly. Like, that's how they track what coral reefs are dying, is because people are submitting their pictures and they can get a better understanding of what's going on. And
I think you would want that information.
Right. And also it's like it's also, I'm pretty sure how Penn State was kind of keeping track of what was going on with the spotted lanternflies in Pennsylvania, is how many people were posting them on iNaturalist and being like, the fuck is this bug? Like that kind of a thing. So I think that citizen science is definitely something that should be done. And again, there's always going to be people that are going to take advantage of things like this. It's unfortunate, but I don't think that it should stop. And I don't think that you're necessarily going to be able to make it stop. And okay, so 3 or 4 herpers now are going to be like, I will never submit any herp I find to iNaturalist. Okay. You're not the only person finding these animals out there. You're not.
Right.
So, okay. And you know what? If you could send nasty ass emails to every single person who posts up a picture of a snake they found in your spot on public land, like, I don't know what you want here. It's like the people who, I'm pretty sure there has to be an app about fishing and shit like that, where it's like, I went to this place and I caught these fish at this time and this thing. And I guarantee you there are people who are pissed off about that because, you took my fishing hole. Like, it's
right.
This, you're not the only one, no matter what, unless this is your property in your backyard and you don't let people on it. Even then.
Yeah,
your neighbor's going to post pictures. Like, I don't want to.
Yeah. I mean, I think of all the people that we know that are in that world, and I love them to death. I think of Zach and Warren and Justin and Scott and Ty and I'm probably leaving people out that I can't think of, but you know what I'm saying, like
Lucas.
Yeah, Lucas.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. But, so I don't know. It's sort of like I get the feeling from, and again, this is just sort of the person that posted this. It's sort of like, well, it's okay for me, but the rest of you guys can go scratch type of thing. But, like, unless you have a degree or unless you're this, then you're not deserving of that information. And maybe I'm reading into that wrong, but that's sort of the vibe.
Take copperheads, for example.
Right.
People are like, this is a secret spot that no one knows where we can go and we can find the copperheads. There are signs that say beware snakes. Like, I mean, people know they're here.
Beware
of
copperheads.
Right. Beware of copperheads. I'm pretty sure people know they're fucking here. Like, it's
right.
It's like that. And that's the arrogance of it sometimes. It's, again, parts of herpetoculture. It's such huge freaking egos. Like, I am the only one who knows of this copperhead. The signs do. The signs say it.
I think that's one of the things that bumps me out a lot about the hobby is the egos that are involved sometimes.
Somebody was giving me shit over.
I get it, but
somebody gave me shit about when I came back from the trip with Rob, where we went to go look for the rattlesnakes.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, you told the island. I'm like, there are signs everywhere that say beware of rattlesnake. Like, what do you want from me, dude? Like, as you're pulling it, they're like, welcome to Rattlesnake Island.
Well, this is a good point, right? If you go to any national park,
they know what's there.
There's going to be a store, and in that store, there's those little laminated pamphlet things that have all of the species of snakes that are found.
John Hines
in that area.
John Hines Wildlife Refuge near the airport in Philly.
Right.
You go in their central area, and they have pictures of copperheads that have been taken by people over the years in the place. They're like, as a warning of these fucking things exist here. Like, and it's like, what are you going to do here? So you're like, don't tell people that. Like, no.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, that's sort of why I don't do the recap show anymore for the herp trips, because it's sort of like, I guess like you'll get like what we found, but not to the level of detail that we've done in the past, which is kind of a bummer because, and then at the same time, it's sort of like, I like having those conversations in person. I think the bummer is like a lot of times it's either look, I have this situation on our podcast here and I have this situation with my wife. We don't go on trips together, but we travel a lot. So it's like,
I'm going to start doing the opposite. I'm going to start GPS pinning every animal we find. And being like,
just take a picture of it.
Maybe like, yeah.
And that's the other thing, man. If you take a picture, right, and you're using your phone, can't people reverse engineer and finding the? Well,
no, it automatically pings it because now
I know, but like, can't you get the info from that photo?
Yeah.
Right.
You can do that from the photo. Yeah.
Right. That's why you don't.
I mean, it's one step away, but you can get it. And I don't think you even need to go that far. It's like, I don't.
So then it becomes like, why even, like, it's like there's so many deterrents from sharing that. Why even share it?
Because people want to see it. And I want people to know that this cool thing is out here. And I found it. And it didn't chase me down the path. It let me take its picture and then it went on its way. And this is a fun thing that other people who are like, man, I have been dying to go here and find this, are encouraged to do it.
Yes.
That's why. Now, if one old curmudgeon who goes there maybe every couple years to see his rattlesnake, and that is his rattlesnake in this area, and you went over there and you took a picture of his rattlesnake, I don't know what to do for you, man. It wasn't yours to begin with. And again, it's all public land. So just because you managed to find it doesn't mean somebody else hasn't. And every person who sits there goes, no one knows about this spot. You don't fucking know, because there's a lot of people on this goddamn planet. So I don't.
Yes. I would argue that the people that go to spots that, like in Texas, there's a lot of private land, right?
There is.
So like if you know somebody and you go on to their property, that may be a spot where it's
that's a different thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That may be a situation where it's like, and you're probably going to be careful about sharing that type of stuff. You know what I mean?
Because you don't want random people to show up on your friend's property. I would appreciate that if I was that guy. But yeah, it's.
And if I were to push back on anything, I think I'm even guilty of this as well. It's like you're so excited about the find. And what I've been trying to do is live in the moment with the people that I'm having that find with.
Right.
Rather than rushing to sort of, like I might send Keith a picture or like you a picture. Or in our group with me, you, Keith, Matt, the people, like the people that are in our sort of circle that we know and trust and have no worries about sharing information like that, but like sort of to give an update to you, or like you're giving me an update on the trips that you went on and I didn't go to, you know what I mean? Like, hey, look what we found. And you're like, I hate you so much. And then I'm like, I hate you so much.
Day 2, mosquitoes are worse. Rob still on phone with Eric to try to get plane tickets. No rattlesnakes, morale low. Like it's.
Oh, that was a perfect reencappment of that trip.
I mean, that is probably the message I sent. Like, it's probably word for word. Yeah. So it's.
But yeah, I'm trying to live in that moment and not necessarily worry about.
But
making it a thing on social media,
right?
Because I want my ego to be boosted.
Like I ended up listening to an episode of Venom Exchange.
Okay.
Snipper lied to me and said he was going to talk about my hognose bite, and then I listened to a whole episode of Venom Exchange Radio. It was not mentioned at all. Nipper lied to me.
They got you.
Yeah. Feel dirty. But anyway, it was so. But Phil was talking about looking for stuff. And that he wants to go out and find these things, and he wants to do that. And I think a guy like Phil is somebody you'd want to help out. You
100%.
want to, like, here's my spots, here are your things. And I don't want somebody who's maybe 2 steps behind Phil, who's maybe not somebody that we know really well, but still has the same kind of passion, to miss out on something just because they don't want to speak up, or they're a little afraid, or, you know, they don't have a big group to go with, or they don't really know what they're doing. So it's like, these are things that people deserve to find and deserve to see. And just because
you're going to want to preserve it.
Right. Just because you're not kissing ass to the one dude who finds himself as the protector of the species doesn't mean that you should not be able to find it.
You said it better than I did, but yes,
I did.
That's yes, exactly. That's sort of what
it's been most of our relationship. Yeah. It's just kind of,
I ramble it. You
ramble it. And then I just kind of be like, good, you take what you said, sharpen it, and throw it. Yeah,
exactly. I just throw shit at the wall. Whatever sticks, Owen takes off. He makes it work. I don't know. So interesting topic. I think it would make a good Reptile Fight Club episode, since Rob and Justin are
don't say that too loud. We're gonna get emails from Justin. Yeah, he's gonna be like, I want you guys on to fight. No, we do enough on our own podcast of that.
I don't know if I'm like, I feel like we're talking about this, obviously, but I, you know, and I've done a lot of herping and whatnot, but I don't know. I feel like I feel like this is this thing where I have to talk to, get some different perspectives and different thoughts and stuff until I would formulate it or whatever. But I don't think I would be able to argue it on Reptile Fight Club unless I argued the other side and be the
easy side. Yeah. Well, and then there's the whole thing of like, I've been going to this place for years and people keep posting on iNaturalist, and now I can't find snake X. Yeah. Okay. Does it have anything to do with the fact that half of it is now paved? Like, I don't know if if there's other things that could be. I gotta be honest with you, man. When we were in Central Florida, you know, out in the pine area there, it was sort of like we witnessed and saw them just freaking dismantling the forest. You know what I mean? They were just like, you know, cutting the fucking trees down, and then it's going to be a new shopping mall or whatever it would be. And it's just like, I never saw it in a way like that to where it impacted me to say, so this is what they're fucking talking about. You know what I mean? Like, you remember the spot we go to for the timbers? It's a logging trail. That's how you get up there. Right. And every time we go, they've cut down a different section because it's a logging trail. Right. And that's how you get up there, because they're logging. Right. Yeah. So I don't know how much longer that spot's going to be there, because eventually they'll go around that other ridge, but maybe they won't. Maybe that's why it's theirs, because they're clearing everything over there and all this other stuff. So Dora used to live in South Jersey, right? And she used to live in Williamstown. So we were driving to the shore the other day. The whole thing was that her mom came up and she wanted to go to Wildwood, which I fucking hate Wildwood. I hate Wildwood. I had to go, you know. angry Philly part. Like, well, listen, New Jersey is nothing but our beaches, and I will die on that hill. Yeah. But I was never a Wildwood kid. We always went to Ocean City. Yeah. Well, I don't get to pick on this trip. I go where I'm told. Yeah, as you should. Yeah, yes. Yep. So you know, you now know. Yes, I do. Indeed. But the thing was that as we were driving, she kept saying the whole ride down, like, I can't believe how much this has changed. I can't believe how much this has changed. And I'm like, so I said to her, I'm like, so what has changed? And she said, this used to all be forest. Farmland. Now it's all farmland and forest, and you know, and now it's just all malls. It's just all retail. Dude, what it is? The Morgantown where Dad used to work, like where the reptile show is now. Right. There are parts of it. So this one giant farm thing became a Walmart plaza, and then across the road from it became a Starbucks in the plaza, and then there was a small airport where you could take tiny planes and gliders up. That's been sold as getting turned into cul-de-sacs. I mean, that's happening all over the freaking place. Right. And now they're talking about expanding Amtrak lines to Reading from, you know, Harrisburg in New York, and they're talking about having regional rail lines that go from Reading to Philadelphia. So it's like more and more and more, you're going to see that kind of stuff happening.
Sure.
And of course, habitat impact is going to be crucial. And it's a lot of times some of these little sweet spots are right off the beaten path of already developed places. Mm-hmm. So again, to think that you're the only one who knows about it, where it is, when it's like 3 feet away from a park, like I don't, or it's like, oh yeah, the biggest outdoor sports store is like, I can see it from here. Like it's that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
100%. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
just going to go back to GPS tagging every animal that I find. I'm going to carry around a small cattle brand of like the Rogue flag logo. Be like, I found this rattlesnake. There we go.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I think, wait, you had something about ring pythons you want to talk about before we.
Yeah, there was a guy I was following on Instagram whose name escapes me now.
Pythons by Mark Miles.
Yes, he had a clutch of ring pythons hatch a couple of days ago, and they're gorgeous. Look at them.
Yeah. They are cool, man.
I know.
They are really cool.
I feel like they're slowly becoming my next whale, which is annoying. It's like, well, we gotta get the ring python project going. It's like, so
I could see that.
Well, I have the girl from you, which thank you for that, psycho. So
you're welcome.
But it's like, I don't want to get a male for her. She'll kill him. Like she will kill him. He needs to be a big boy, or I'm worried for his safety. And then I have that giant female that has killed several males that I sent to Ryan that did not die and did not kill anybody. So maybe potentially Ryan will produce some this year, and I'll have a half a clutch of rings. And then what I would probably do is just pick out some babies for myself to raise.
Gotcha. Okay.
Use that girl to produce some for myself. And then if Ryan breeds her again, get some more babies to sell. But as I'm raising up my other ones, but that'd be cool to do.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I want to say, I understand why some people, don't like them or whatever, because of the whole.
they change color because it's like they're not bright orange.
They're not that bright orange. Yeah, that whole thing. But listen, I don't know, man. I kind of like what they look like as adults, to be honest.
When they get the female I got from you has more of a reddish orange to her, and then the black. And there's a ton of iridescence on her, and she's absolutely gorgeous. Yeah. There you go. Yep. Oh, it's eating a zebra jack.
Carpet python. A zebra jack.
Oh, no, it's a caramel. No, it's a granite jack. God damn. Yeah, it is eating a carpet python.
No, that's a zebra jack.
Is it a zebra jack?
Yeah, you were right.
Are we sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a zebra jack.
Is it alive?
No, it was kinked and dead. Yeah.
Oh God!
Yeah.
It doesn't. I'm like, it looks kind of moving, but all right. No. Okay.
No. Yeah, I made sure in the post that.
Thank God.
It said that it was kinked and.
See, and now if you have a snake eater, do you feed it snakes?
I don't know, man. That's a good question.
Because
do you take the chance and sort of get that thing going.
I don't want to have a taste for it.
Once you have a peanut butter cup, you have the taste for a peanut butter cup, and you'll do anything for a peanut butter cup.
I'm going to put you in a room with peanut butter cups. You ate the peanut butter cups.
Yes, right?
Yeah, that's what they're here for, right? No, you're supposed to be happy and not hurt that peanut butter cup. I don't know the difference.
I think, though, that I don't know. It's just I think I can't remember where I heard this or who was talking about it or whatever, but the idea that, yes, they would be they would eat snakes, but the idea that when they are in the mode of breeding,
right,
that they would not. So to me, it would make sense that there would be some kind of trigger
okay,
somewhere to sort of say, like, if these hormones start going crazy, it's sort of like you lose your appetite. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what exactly it would be, but I'm just thinking there has to be something that it can't be that every ring python just, it's like, oh, you're a snake, I'm going to eat you, you know?
I would agree. They're not
We're supposed to be.
I would agree. But
captivity changes things. Yes.
Right. But I, as the food monkey.
Yes.
Can I see that, or am I just taking my best guess? Like, I'm not going to walk in the room and be like, ring pheromones. That means safe.
Well, like, no. Yeah. I get it.
All I can do is go off of what I'm seeing. And if the female is acting a certain way and I put him in there, for all I know, she's like, yeah, all right, whatever. Nah, you know what? Screw you. It's on. Like, I don't.
But do you think that, I guess what I was getting at is perhaps those snakes are not in that breeding time. We just think it's their breeding time. So, like, especially with a lot of these Indonesian species, white lips, I would say, would fall into the same thing. You've seen activity that could go that route, you know, where they attack each other and shit like that. Kill each other and all that kind of stuff. So, like, if you're killing that animal to eat it, is it because you're in the mode of like, oh, we're not breeding and this snake is way smaller than I am, so I'm gonna eat it?
You want to take a shot? I would say certain species like white lips, a lot of the time it's an accidental strike.
Sure.
I'm cued in, I want food, something moved.
Right.
Rings and Apodora, it's like, that's smaller. Get over here. And I think that just sometimes it's like we go through the cycling and we put everything down, everything cools, everything goes the way we should, and we see signs that could lead us to believe that they are in breeding mode. But what if we miss something? Or what if the male gets in there and he's nervous, so he's jerking all around, moving, and that triggers a response out of the female?
I think those are just the dice you roll with that type of species.
It is. I think it's 100% that.
Yeah. And I think if you
ever
really
escape that.
Yeah, you're always going to be worried about it for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But like, think about it. How do they breed king snakes?
Same way. You think that you cycle it down and you feed everybody. See, what I do is I cycle everybody down and then I feed everybody and then I introduce when everybody's got a full belly. Because like, there's no chance you think that there is food happening here, but I don't feed and then introduce the same day, because that is suicide. Because you're right, everybody's in that feed mode, everybody's switched on, they're going to bite everything that comes in the cage.
Right.
But the next day, everybody's got a full belly, everybody's kind of relaxing, and then you can introduce a male or a female. The other thing is you can also attempt to add the shed of the male or the female to the other cage. Get the smell in there.
So they get used to it?
Right. You want to see a male get distracted for a day. Put the shed skin of a female or another male rival during breeding season in his cage. He will do nothing else for the rest of the day but stare at it.
Right.
And flick his tongue at it.
I wonder if, so like with king snakes, right? I guess my pushback would be that we're, anything that we're breeding more than likely has the same. Yeah, you could argue that it's not from the same spot, whether it be from the desert and we're living on the East Coast or, whatever. But we're in the same hemisphere. We're experiencing the same seasons, although some areas may be different than others. Yes, I understand that or whatever. But I would think it would be easier to sort of get them in that mode of breeding than, say, an Indonesian species to where we're not from, right? So, like, let's just say that you have, I don't know, what's a coastal milk snake or whatever, right from where we're at, right?
Right.
They're going to follow whatever season we got going on. You know what I mean? So it's like, even if you would question that, if you would, like, if you go herping at all or you see any wild snakes, you're going to start to see snakes on the move at a certain time of year. Like, I think that, like, a lot of the times where we got punked at Carpet Fest is because we're doing it in August or June when it's hot
as hell.
And we're not seeing snakes in those time frames. We're seeing snakes in April, May, September, October.
Right.
You might see a snake June, July, or August.
But you got to be out at the ass crack of dawn, and you got to be there before it gets too hot. Yeah.
Right. So when you're talking about a species that's from Indonesia, especially where they're from, how many people have been to where they're from to actually be able to be boots on the ground and say, oh, this is what's going, and be there for an extended amount of time to sort of know what those seasons are like. So like sometimes I wonder, just listening to Ryan and like how he approaches breeding a lot of those Indonesian species seems like he's sort of, he has a certain window that would be opposite from what we would breed as Australian species. Am I wrong?
I mean,
to a certain extent.
To a certain extent, like I think that the Aussie and Indo breeding seasons overlap.
Yes.
And you can kind of get it to the point where the spheres are really close and you can kind of cram your entire season into that one long stretch.
Right.
Because I've had Aussie
winter,
animals,
summer, right?
Right. Well, I've had Aussie animals lay and then Indo species lay and then have Aussie species lay and then have Indo species lay and then have an Aussie species. Like I've had it scattered. And then the place.
You also have, like, for instance, with white lips, how many years did you keep white lips before you bred them?
10.
Is it like 10? 10. Okay.
10 years.
So 10 years. So it's a long time that you've been doing the same process to where it gets into their brain that this is how it works, where we used to be here and now we're here and this is how it works. And
I think
that acclimation that they've gotten to your spot has to do with a lot of you as a keeper following those same
and I'm going to start hedging my bets soon. Okay. So I wanted to give them one more year, but I have a trio of captive born and breds, 2 of which I produced, 1 of which Ryan produced.
Right.
And I'm going to start putting them through the same cycling that the parents get.
Okay.
Year after year, they're going to get the same temps and all that stuff. So it might take them longer to grow and develop because they're not getting fed the whole time. But exactly, I don't give a shit. They're not going anywhere. So
no, that's a little tear coming.
Exactly.
Down
No, but how will you produce?
No, I don't mean from that because I said
I have them. I don't really give a shit. So the idea is that when they do come of age, this is just another season, and it just happens to be the girls will ovulate. So
see, this is my thinking. I know a lot of people like push back on me on this, and like this is my thinking of how I approached keeping babies. Like I don't really feed them in the time frame that I feed, and they go through the cycle just like the rest of them go through the cycle. But I'm gonna hedge my bets like you that over time that's going to pay off for me because they're going to be acclimated to my room. Now, if I sent them to Rob, that may be a different situation. Right? It may take him long, 5 years, reset. Here we go. It may take him 5 years to get them dialed in. Some species easier, some species harder.
Some are because, I never put carpets down for cycling until it's a breeding season. Yeah, and I never had a problem. They all grow. They all do their thing.
Sure,
but I want to get other things that are maybe not as willing to breed, like or not prepared enough. If I start getting them going through it and I get their clocks to time in with the cycles and stuff like that, it took me a while to figure out olive pythons because I was being like, you go in carpet python box. It's like, no, we need a new box. Like it is olive python box. So it's that kind of stuff where it's like, I want to break it up. So I think white lips need that. They need the drop. They need the thing because I want to get them going because I want those 3 animals when they are adult size to know that this is when things cool down and this is when the female starts ovulating. I basically want them to be like carpet pythons, but I think they need more training wheels than a carpet python would. I think they need to be locked in, and I want to lock them in from a young age because people are like, Ryan produces all the time. But these are animals he's raised at this point, some of them. Just because he's had so many successful seasons. So these animals know nothing more than what he's plugged into. And I think that's the best bet. Like, dude, if if I get Timors this year, you think I'm giving up Timor pythons? Like I'm keeping a trio of them back, you know?
Yeah.
Why? Because I'm going to raise them and I'm going to put them through the ringer of carpet python breeding temps.
I think that's what you have to do.
When they're like 2 years old. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's what you have to do in terms of, you know, if you're trying to establish a species that's not necessarily established that well, you know, to where it's produced like, say, a ball python, a carpet python, a retic, or, you know, the mainstream type of pythons, that you sort of have to do those things. You sort of have to hold back and make better. It's sort of like when we were talking to Justin about Antaresia, right? You know, one of the questions that I brought up is like, as you're doing this and you're seeing multiple generations, are you noticing that they're taking, you know, rodents quicker than say he talked about the wheat belts and how they were a little bit trickier, probably because it's the same experience I had with the Darwin carpets. They're so close to, there's not a lot of generations happening. So they're closer to a wild animal than, you know, say what we've, you know, the M-Pen coastal carpets that, you know what I mean?
Yeah. They haven't seen the wild in like 20 years. Yeah. It's like 20 gens.
We don't want to go back there.
No, hell no. That's terrible.
Fed every week, and I live in this. There's no predators.
I also think that some wild caught animals go a different way. So now, I'm just going to stick with gold white lips because it's the easiest one to explain. Right. I have a trio of adults. Okay. I have a captive born and bred adult male, and he's the father of all the babies that I had. Right. I have a wild caught female that's proven. She's the mom. And then I have a wild caught female that I got from Jason. So the issue is across the board. Every single one of them is different. The captive born and bred male can get a little feisty, but usually it's pretty good once you hook him out. The wild caught proven female is good in cage, but if you put your hands on her or try to hook her out, she freaks out and tries to bite you. Okay. The other female, the last female, will bite everything and anything that walks by her cage. She's constantly hitting the glass. So out of those three, you have all those different personalities and stuff like that. And I think the reason that the one female actually bred is because she's so chill in the cage. She's just like, I don't care. Leave me alone. It's fine. Yeah. The other female is so high strung. I'm concerned that she'll ever breed because she just freaks out over all this other stuff. That, and then you look at their babies. So we have the trio. We have the two that I produced, and we have the one that Ryan produced. The two that I produced are flighty, nippy, but only ever about the size, like what you would see with a carpet python. Okay. They're not really that mad. They'll as long as they know it's not food, they're pretty chill in hand. They won't bite you in hand. The one from Ryan is a psychopath. But she's an F1. So it's like, these guys, my two, technically, because their father is an F1, are F2s. Right. So it's just kind of like, I don't know, but it's across the board. See how it goes.
I wonder about those species too. Is there a compatibility issue there? Is there?
I think a larger male. The problem is I think the male needs to be big, but not fat. So he needs to be large, but kind of thin and able to move around. He needs to be muscular, and the female needs to be smaller than him because then he take no shit. Like that kind of a thing. So females 5 to 6 foot. Male, my boy is like 7 feet, but he's only like he'll eat I'll give him a large rat every once in a while, but most of the time I'm feeding him quail, other bird, stuff like that. Okay. He came to me huge. He was huge when he showed up, and I thinned him down. I think that's what you got to do. I think the problem is you need a big male, and he needs to not be a fat slug that sits in the corner. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I just wanted to circle back real quick. Yep. With the whole thing about keeping babies a certain way. I think the difficulty with that whole situation is there's not a lot of studies done on baby snakes. They're hard to find, you know, and if they're going down to a cooling period and they're saying going down into a ground or in a den or whatever it would be, where the temperature is more stable, are they then eating at that point if something comes along? Is that nobody really knows, right? I mean, nobody.
Maybe then it's not. Maybe I don't do what I do with the adults. Maybe I don't drop them down to a low temp and raise them up during the day and make them go cooler and stuff like that. Maybe I pick a degree a couple steps down. So their hot spots normally.
So they're getting some type of cooling period.
Maybe I pick a degree that's a couple degrees down.
Right.
And I sit them at that, and then I just don't feed. So then it's like food has just become scarce. Maybe that's how you cycle them into it. It's like,
and the thing about temperatures, wouldn't it be that a smaller snake would lose heat faster than a larger snake?
But I think a smaller snake would be able to find a spot to keep warm better than a bigger snake.
But I guess what I'm saying with the approach I'm thinking of, right? It's like, is it wise to sort of have that and not have that animal have access to a warmer spot? So meaning that, yes, you want, like, if there's a way, how can you to your point, right? You're sort of like, you're bringing it down, but like, while all the other diamonds are sitting at 50 degrees with no hot spot, say, right? If you had baby diamonds in the same room, or say a yearling diamond in the same room, perhaps you want to either leave that hot spot on a little more, provide a hide box that has better insulation. So if it did go out in basket, it could get into that spot and sort of, retain heat that way.
No, let's do it this way. So let's say normal temps throughout the year, 84, 85 degree hot spot. And then the temperature in the room is whatever. The other temp in the cage is whatever the temp of the room is, which during summertime, like maybe 80s, 70s, like the whatever. Nothing bad. So winter comes and you start cooling down the adults. So which means they still get that 84 degree hot spot, but you drop the nighttime temps to lower and lower and lower till you get to that magic spot you want to get to. Right. So they have the daytime temps, but they also have the night drop temps. Maybe the babies, because I do this with all my animals, is like the temps start dropping and then a certain species stops here. Like it's like we start dropping carpets no further. Right. Breadlie are going to keep going. Right. And it's like olives and breadlie keep going, stop here. Breadlie keep going. Like it's that kind of thing. So maybe babies, diamonds like diamonds. Yeah. Just throw it down that way. But let's say babies, you start doing it and then you stop here where there's no real danger for them as far as maybe temp stuff. Maybe it's a little uncomfortable, but they still have the hot spot that comes on during the day. And then again, you just turn off food. So they're getting a little taste of the winter as far as the temperatures, but they do still have access to the heat.
See, to me, let's just say for sake of argument, you're keeping it in Exoterra, right? Okay. And let's say that, you have one of those heat pads that you put on the cage. Right. Right. And let's say that you have diamond pythons in that cage and you have the hot spot going, the hot spot's 90 degrees or whatever, but down in the corner of the cage, you have it to where you could maintain the temperature, say at like, to your point, the rest of the diamonds are going down to 50, but this animal is going to have access to a spot where it could get to 70 degrees. It's not going to where it's at in the cage, it may be other spots where it is 50 degrees. So they do have access to that. However, in this one area, whether it be the hide or it be, underneath,
you have something that provides
some kind of thing, so that if it wanted to, and if it became too uncomfortable, it could get to that spot. Because my feeling would be that if it's going into a crack or a cave or a tree hollow or whatever it would be, trying to sort of survive through those cold periods, that it's going to take advantage of those microclimates. Right. And although outside it's 50 degrees and
it's going to stay in its happy little tree where it's only 70 degrees. Right. Right. Which happens
a lot with these animals, right? Because we say, oh, you go out to the desert, it's 120 degrees.
Yeah, but not in the crack in the rock that's like 60 degrees. Yeah. Right. So, and that's my thinking as far as like controlling cages and racks and stuff like that, is that you kind of give them that habitat or that place to hide in. It's almost like you're simulating it. It's like, yes, it's going to get cooler, but then it will get warmer because you found a spot to hide or the sun came out or something like that. Right. So it is taking care of you. That kind of idea, I think that would be how I would approach it.
This is why I like the paper towel rolls as a hide. Yeah. Because when you put it in and it's the length of the tub for a baby let's say for this argument, we're saying carpet pythons, it can sort of thermoregulate right inside that hide. Right. Feels cramped in. I would imagine that if it is accumulating heat and it is on the hot spot and the area is tight, and then when you look at like, so for the one end of the paper towel hide, I might put the sphagnum moss in it. So again, it's sort of like simulating it, finding, whatever you want to call that, enrichment or whatever the buzzword is for it or whatever. But like my feeling is that will also help keep that heat in. You know what I mean? And sort of like, gives them a spot simulate to curl up and give them to simulate what they're doing. I mean,
it's kind of like just looking here. Hi, Octavia. The roughies, the heat panels on this side of the cage,
right,
and directly underneath is the hide box,
right,
and then right over here on this side of the cage on the ceiling is the ceiling hide.
On the opposite side, right,
right,
yeah. Right.
So, but the ceiling hide is big enough that they can get kind of close to the heat panel and also kind of away from it if they want to,
right.
But also, like if you look at her, you have the heat panel,
right.
Then you have a branch, then you have the top of the bin. Then you have the inside of the bin. So
correct.
Depending on where
she has multiple spots
she wants to go. Yeah.
Right.
Right now she's sitting on top of the bin in hunting position. So it's like, I know what she wants. Like,
yes.
And
where is it?
And this one is hanging outside of her ceiling hide and is looking directly at me because I'm moving my hand too much. So it's like, and the male is gone. I don't know where he is. So it's like,
right.
You give them options,
right,
and you just kind of figure it out. But you need to know where the safety net is. You need to know where you need to deploy the net,
right,
and catch them. As opposed to being like, and now the rough-scale python is at 50 degrees. You've gone too far.
Right.
Like,
and I think how I learned that was, this is sort of how, like, I remember when I first started keeping carpets, I talked about this a lot on the show over the years, is this, like, we used to keep them with the 90-degree hotspot and all this stuff. And that's how pythons were kept. And this is what you had to do and blah, 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 blah. But you would always notice that the snakes are always trying to get away from that heat. When you start to see that with all of your snakes just push straight up against the front of a tub when they're, you're sort of like, maybe something's not right.
Yeah,
so
good,
then you start looking at stuff or whatever, and then you say, all right, let me back this heat down a bit, and you sort of play with it, and then you see them sort of utilizing both. To me, that's when you sort of have the sweet spot.
That's when you got a good,
yeah.
When they have a spot that they love in the warm and the cool, you're fine.
Right.
I of course cannot say like anything more about spider robotics.
Herpstats, yeah, they're the best.
We were at a point, I know that we have had people who have like a whole stack of cages, and they have one herpstat, and the probes go like a diagonal through the stack, and it's like top row is run by this probe, and it's like I have a probe in every single cage rack. Yes. I will put a probe in the bin, not laying on top of the tape. I will punch a hole, put it in the bin, tape it down, because now I know what it is in the bin, not laying on top of the tape.
Gotcha.
And then I will just mark that bin, and no snake goes in it. I just put cups in it. I don't like I put other crap in there. But that's the point is that and they'll run the rack, but the things you can do with a herpstat, with the whole pit, ramping up, ramping down, figuring out your temperatures and all that stuff, it makes it so much easier.
Oh yeah.
And dude, this is I had a heating system once that was controlled by a dimmer switch that was attached to a bunch of human heat pads that you got at CVS because they didn't have an automatic shutoff. There's a fucking miracle I didn't burn down my college dorm.
Holy shit. Is,
but
that's great.
But this is the shit, dude. Like you have to do that kind of stuff. You have to spend the money. Sure. I have this weird thing right now where I have 2 herpstats that I'm not using. And I'm like, oh no, I don't know what to do with these, because I've had because this stack right now was being run by a Herpstat 3 and a Herpstat like intro. Okay. So I just went and got the goddamn 4. So now all of these are on one computer system, which means I have a Herpstat intro and a Herpstat 1 that I don't have anything to plug them into. Yeah. Which is a great thing to have.
Yeah. When I set up like a baby rack, the one thing I did was I always use a Herpstat 2 because I use those what's the company called? They make the incubators.
Oh, Ranco.
No.
Nope.
They make the snake incubators. Oh God, the guy used to live in Philly and he moved to Florida. Sea serpents. Yeah. Anyway, when they have like I think it's 3 stacks of like the 6-quart bins. Mm-hmm. They come in 3 and you can kind of stack them on top of each other. So I'll take that. You've seen it. It's floor to ceiling type of thing. So I always worry about
in my room now. Yeah.
No, you have the animal plastic one.
Right.
I still have the sea serpent one, but it's basically the same thing.
Yeah.
But the idea with those is I would always worry about the bottom as opposed to the top. And I would run a Herpstat 2 and I would have the one at the top and the one at the bottom. And obviously it would, similar to you, I would have it sort of in a tub that was sort of, I didn't tape it down or anything like that. I just sort of had it in the tub, the probe in the tub, and I wouldn't put any snakes in that one. But I would definitely, there would be at different temps because obviously it's going to be a little cooler down at the bottom. And
the stack of racks that I got from you,
right?
I went and I got a Herpstat 6 because after a certain point I was running them on different things, and the thing is they had, because you did what I like, which is each rack has its own tape.
Yes.
It's not like one thing goes through 2 racks. Like no. And each one, and then I was able to plug them in so that they could run it and all that stuff. And I love that because then it just makes everything a hell of a lot easier. So I did that. And I mean, it's just that kind of investment that it's like, spend the money. I know it sucks, but you sell a couple snakes and then you're like, I got an extra $600. I got an extra $400. They run sales all the time.
Right.
And then you just get one. And you know what? Sometimes I got a brand new Herpstat for $100 off at a reptile show. It was just there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay,
sure.
It runs my baby racks now because there are 4 individual baby racks. They're all now run by, I love it, dude. Uniformity is I love it.
Isn't it great when everything is
all my cages are black. Yeah. I can walk in. They're all being run by Herpstats.
It just feels good.
Like all I do is go to these damn wood cages and I'll be in business.
They need to go.
Get out of here.
Lucas can't make 6-foot cages fast enough.
6-foot cages to my dimensions now.
All right, I think that's a good spot to
that's a good spot. Call
it. Good stuff. So if you want to support the show, subscribe and share. It's always good. You'll follow us on Morelia Python Radio on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. NPR Network is also another place where you can find all the different podcasts. We have a merch store, we have a Discord, and we have a Patreon. All the links are in the show notes. And we also have Cold-Blooded Caffeine.
Yes.
We have our own blend. It's a darker blend, but if you're into different types of coffee or you want a lighter blend or whatever it would be, there's tons to choose from. Lots of good stuff. I have the Boland's.
You do? Damn it.
One's coming. So that's good. So check out Cold-Blooded Caffeine. We have an affiliate link. So that's another way you can support the show and get some awesome coffee. And then we also have what's going on with Cold-Blooded Cafe.
Cold-Blooded Cafe is still trucking. We just got an order of rodents and it was fantastic.
Yep.
Which the snakes are eating them. Lovely. I know they were running a little bit of a sale on rabbits, pigs, and stuff like that. Stuff that we would never be able to feed to any of our animals. You and I.
Right.
But, well, no, maybe my retic. But I know they were running that stuff, and I think they're getting ready for some other sales. I hear they were at the LA show, and they're probably going to be making an appearance at what the hell? It's Schaumburg, the not Tinley.
Yeah.
Not Tinley. Yeah. So definitely check that out, and obviously go follow them on all their social media, because that's how you get the ideas. That's how you get notifications of all the sales that they have going on. And our code is MPR20. You can put that in at checkout and get 20% off of your first order of rodents. And then if you have an order over $250, you can use FS250 to get free shipping off your order of above $250, which, if you're paying attention and you need rodents, you can very easily get to above $250.
Yes.
So,
yes.
But that's awesome. And that's all I got. So, I'll say also this, go check out the website, rogue-reptiles.com. A lot of animals are set on the website, and I don't think I have another show until August Hamburg.
Okay.
I will be at the July 13th Oaks show, but I am coming in the morning, dropping off stuff, and then I'm going to Keith McPeak's house. So if you want shit from me, you will be there immediately. So
I can't wait to go hang out with Keith.
That's going to be awesome. That's going to be great.
Yeah.
So
good times.
Yeah, that's all we have, you guys, tonight. And we'll say thanks all for listening. And we'll catch everybody back here next week for some more Morelia Python Radio. Good night.